Why Titanic is no longer allowed to recover from under the sea. Titanic is one of the famous ships in history. The story of its tragedy became more popular when the movie came out under its name, starring by Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet in the year 1997, almost one decade after Titanic ship sank under the sea. What is really currently the status of Titanic under the sea? Is there still a way to recover the ship? But before that, let's go back to our history, how Titanic made and why is it big deal. In the year 1900, the profit and competition on shipping line were really great. White Star Line and Cunard were two leading shipping lines in United Kingdom. White Star Line chairman Joseph Bruce May decided to meet William Peary. Their goal were to create a ship where passengers can enjoy luxurious life instead to focus faster voyage. On March 1909, they started to construct the two ships at the same time, designed by Thomas Andros of Harland and Wolff, Olympic and famous Titanic. They were proud to announce to the public that Titanic had first-class dining saloon for elevators and swimming pool. The second-class accommodation had almost first-class accommodation of another ship. The passenger on the third class had also enjoyed the comfort. About the safety level, Titanic had 16 compartments with door. Because of its strategic design, many people said that Titanic was unsinkable. In the year 1912, Titanic went sea trial and declared as seaworthy before its maiden voyage. The Titanic maiden voyage happened on April 10, 1912, with travel route from Southampton, England to New York City. Titanic became popular, known as millionaire's vessel, and its captain, people called him millionaire's captain because he was popular among rich people. Many passenger celebrities on Titanic, like British journalist William Thomas Stead, and Macy's department store co-owner Isidore Strauss, and his wife Ida. Titanic voyage going to New York with almost 2,200 people. 1,300 were the passengers. After 4 days of its voyage, Titanic ship hit the iceberg in the middle of Atlantic Ocean. When the staff checked the damage inside the ship, they found the compartments were broken. While they dropping lifeboat for women and children, they were also sending distress signal for help with the nearby vessels. But the lifeboat were not enough to accommodate all passengers, and almost 1,500 people died during the incident. When Titanic sank under the sea, they started to find it, but because lack of technology, the attempt were unsuccessful. For decades, searching for the ship location, it was finally found in 1985 by an American people. Robert Ballard led the expedition from no US Navy ship, part of test cargo, 16 feet submersible with camera that can translate images to monitor. The submersible ship dived 13,000 feet deep under the Atlantic Ocean. On December 1, 1985, they got first Titanic underwater images and saw it split in two. Bow of ship easily recognized, and the back part were really destroyed. These saw that the ship were consuming by rusticles. Is it really hard to recover the Titanic? Yes, it is, but doesn't mean they never tried to retrieve it. Started when they found it in 1985, they were always trying to recover the Titanic ship. Many ideas had considered, like using crane mounted on salvage vessels. Also, unique suggestions like using many ping-pong balls or helium-filled balloons on ship. Other way is to float the ship on surface by freezing it like ice dome. The most successful attempt were in 1998, when RMS Titanic Incorporated were able to recover the 300 square section of starboard that separated because of strong impact 86 years ago. Aside from starboard, weighing 20 tons, they also recovered almost 10,000 artifacts, like jewelries, toys, plates, and other equipments. There was no other expedition after year 1998. According to oceanographer, the Titanic ship will slowly destroyed because the environment under the sea and its saltwater acidity. If there will be another attempt to retrieve Titanic because of its totally destroyed. The whole part of Titanic ship is rusty, so they considered not to touch it and instead searching for other parts. Time passed, the ship and its other parts like compartment became worse. In 2016, scientists discovered extremophile bacteria that continued destroying the remaining part of Titanic. Because of this bacteria, Titanic might completely destroyed in 2030. According to UNESCO, for protection of underwater cultural heritage, sites like Titanic wreck on Atlantic Ocean is untouchable, and artifacts retrieved from this are not allowed to sell. Because whole Titanic is no longer allowed to recover, many different concerns appear about some things can be discovered inside the ruined ship. But many people say that Titanic ship should be considered as grave site because 1,500 people died in this. Before Titanic totally disappeared, you can see it personally by joining Ocean Gate of Ocean Surfer Expedition Company. If you have $100,000, you can join Titanic Expedition and help to recognize the artifact inside the Titanic wreck. Or you can watch the Titanic movie because the actual face inside Titanic is almost similar.